I still had ballet class, and I had my dad drive me to the ballet class. And then on the way, we started hearing all these shootings around us, and my mom called me on my cell phone and just freaked out and like started cursing me out for wanting to go to ballet class. But you know, that basically, I'm just saying this because I think it's important to underline how hard it is to stay motivated and to stay committed to class on a daily basis when you're living in a country that not only isn't as energetic and you know, into dance as New York is, but also has all these bigger problems to deal with. So I don't think there's even a comparison between dancing in Lebanon and dancing in New York. In New York, you can almost let yourself be taken, you know, by the flow because there's so much going on. There's always something to conquer, always something to do, an audition to go to, a class to take, workshops, all that, that you basically just, your job is to just go, you know. And to me, coming from a background where going wasn't always easy, here it's pretty much a breeze, you know, you just let yourself be taken by the flow. Being a ballet dancer in Lebanon is very challenging, mostly because there are so many bigger problems that the country has to face, political issues, that people don't really invest enough time and money and effort into the art form. But there are really good teachers, so if you're serious, then it's possible to achieve a certain level of technical proficiency, but sooner or later you do have to leave, and especially because sometimes the political situation gets in the way of it. Around the age of 9 or 10, it started becoming very, like, it was almost religious, you know. I was like, okay, I have to go to class every day, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then I realized that it wasn't I mean, it was an effort, but I wanted to do it. And I thought that, you know, if I could make this my profession, then I'd be a happy person, because I'd actually want to go to work in the morning. Actually, the stage is the end goal, but before you get to the stage, you have to get to class. But even before you get to class, you have to get to the gym or to some sort of studio where you can do your own personal workout. It kind of depends on the dancer, but you do have to develop certain muscles that aren't easily found and that aren't even used in ballet class as much as they should be. You know, they're not used enough that they can be strengthened sufficiently. So you do have to work outside of class, and then by the time you get to class, those muscles are already warmed up, ready to go, and you can use them for what you're supposed to do. But you can't just, class is not enough. Like, there's a whole other exercise routine that has to be done. Mine involves running, Pilates, like I said, and also a workout created by Gelsey Kirkland that I worked with for a long time in New York, who was a very, very famous dancer in the 1970s, and now she teaches. She has her own school, and she came up with this whole warm-up routine called core dynamics, where basically you just strengthen your core and get ready for class, set yourself up for class. Ballet is much more rigorous, to the point of almost being anal. You know, some days I'm just, you know, I just want to take a jazz class or a hip hop class or something to just break out of the ballet mold, because it can be really smothering. There's a specific way to do things. There is no playing around. Like, you basically just have to do what you're told exactly the way you're told to do it, but then at the same time you're supposed to have an artistry and you're supposed to be able to express yourself. So it's very contradictory, and in my mind that's the hardest thing to do, because you have all these restrictions, but at the same time you have to be your own person and you've got to communicate something to the audience. So it's, you know, it's easier to do that in other types of dance that are more easygoing with technical restrictions, you know, like modern dance. You can, or yeah, basically modern is more about you than it is about the technique. But in ballet, the technique comes first and then there's you, and that's really hard to bring together. Make sure that you know what you want, because it's not a happy ending, you know, just being in New York or being in a big city, getting accepted into a school or even a company or whatever isn't the end, you know, it's a new beginning. So you better be prepared to want it and to always renew that energy and not think that once you get some kind of success you're done, because you're never done.